Hello and welcome, sensational Sagittarius. I'm Rose Smith and I'm here to do your July 2019 horoscope. Thanks so much for coming along and joining me today. So, wowee, what a big month we all have. Nobody escapes the effects of what's going to happen this month. But as a fire sign, you're probably going to be caught up a little bit more than some of us because we have a lot going on with Leo, Cancer and Capricorn. Leo is a fire sign, so it's probably going to affect you a little bit more. So we have two new moons if you're not in Australia or New Zealand, and that is on the 2nd and the 31st of the month. Okay, so and those new moons are in Cancer and Leo, so 2nd and 31st. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, then it will be the 3rd and the 1st of August. Okay, only one new moon to cope with. We also have two eclipses, a partial solar eclipse on the 2nd/3rd, and then we have a lunar eclipse on the 16th. Now, I just want to talk briefly about eclipses because the effects of those can be up for 6 months after the actual eclipse. So it's really hard to tie in the effects of the eclipse with the actual eclipse because then we're on to the next eclipse. So there are, I think it's the 25th or 26th of December, there's another eclipse, and then we go into 2020. So it's like this constant cycle of transformation. We also have Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde starts on the 8th to the 8th of the month till the 1st. Now, I'm giving you those dates, but there's actually some extra time you need to consider because it's those dates are when Mercury is full on retrograde, but a few days before and a few days after, the effects of Mercury going retrograde are coming on and going off. So if you've got something really super important to sign, like a legal agreement, or you're making a major purchase, there's quite a strong chance or likelihood if you do that in July, you'll have to go back and review it or reevaluate that agreement in some way. Okay, so let's start. I don't know if you can hear my chooks out there. That's chickens. There, yeah. I love it when I do a live stream. All the chickens go, bonkers, and they've been quiet all morning. And of course, they're just doing it now. So you'll have chickens in the background, perhaps. All right. So 2nd of the 3rd is the eclipse. It's in your 9th house. This means transformation occurring, relating to things like higher learning, wisdom, your experience, how you get your knowledge. It's also, quite closely related to foreign connections. You could be considering going overseas, or you could be dealing with people that have strong connections overseas. Okay, so there's a lot of transformation. You could even, in fact, because it's often associated with study, you could even, in fact, be thinking about doing a course or travelling overseas and studying at the same time. Okay, it's also great if you want to go overseas and have meet somebody for romance, foreign fling, so to speak. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out in the long term. But certainly for meeting foreign potential partners, it's a very good energy. Okay, so the 4th of the month then sees Venus joining the Sun in your 8th house. Now, this strengthens the idea, the concept that you might meet a foreign person and have some sort of relationship with that person, because the 8th house is about sex. It's about shared resources, intimacy. So another definition of shared resources could be other people's money. You might find with Venus there that you get some sort of an agreement or a gift or a loan or maybe an unexpected tax check comes back to you. Okay, somehow somebody else is going to share their resources with you. So that's where the sex part comes in, because that's obviously very intimate, but hopefully that's a sharing. That's supposed to be a sharing of energy. Okay. So the other thing that goes really good with that is metaphysics. If you're interested in astrology, if you're interested in meditation, psychic phenomena, the paranormal, anything to do with metaphysics, that's really very beneficial energy around the 4th of the month with Venus. Venus gives you the appreciation of beauty, love. Venus often, rules. What happens is Venus rules Taurus and Libra, and Libra particularly, they're an air sign. They have a lot of mental energy, and they're in love with the idea of love. So Venus really makes you enamored with the idea of love. Okay, so I briefly talked about Mercury retrograde from the 8th to the 1st, and it's in your 9th house. Now, sometimes with Mercury retrograde, there's confusion, misunderstandings in communication. There might be delays. So you might be thinking about going overseas, and then your travel plans, have a problem. I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying double check all travel plans, okay? Double check all legal aspects in Mercury retrograde, because things really can go pie-eyed. Mercury retrograde in your 9th house, okay? And then on the 20th in your 8th house. So that means confusion, misunderstandings around other people's resources, sex, intimacy, and maybe even, metaphysics. You misunderstand some concepts or something like that. If you've got psychic ability yourself, you might find your messages that you're getting get a bit, they're blocked. It's hard to pick up. I notice when I travel, particularly in the US, it's harder to clairvoyantly see things, I find, in the US compared to other countries. So especially compared, like here in Australia, it's easy to see, relatively easy once you've trained yourself. And if you do have clairvoyance, Australia is relatively easy to pick up and see things. In the States, I don't know if it's all the concrete, I don't know if it's the negativity, what it is. It's just like for me, it's like looking at static on a TV in some places, but particularly the cities, okay, the big cities. So with Mercury retrograde there, you might have issues with your own psychic ability, okay? And then after the 20th, so it's in the 9th house, your higher learning, your studying, your relationships with foreign people, foreign countries, that sort of thing. Then it goes into the 8th house after the 20th, which is your relationships concerning shared resources. There's misunderstandings or confusion that you need to look out for. The 16th, the lunar eclipse. This is a sign of transformation, and it's joining Saturn. It actually, not joining, it is in your 2nd house, which is all about your value systems. Now, Saturn and Pluto are already there. So it could be obstacles around money or around the things that you value, your ideals. Perhaps you value honesty and integrity, and then you find you have to deal with people that don't value the same things as you, and perhaps they're acting in a dishonest way. So with Mercury retrograde there, then that even makes it worse for confusion, for getting, we would say in Australia, the wrong end of the stick. So that means that we don't really fully understand what's going on like we think we do, okay? So then at the end of the month, then it's full on again, 23rd, 28th and 31st key points. On the 23rd, the Sun is in your 9th. On the 28th, Venus is in your 9th. On the 31st, the new moon is also in your 9th. Now, Mars is already there, giving you the motivation and the desire to probably want to study, broaden your horizons, or travel, or perhaps get interested in some way to do with the metaphysical side of life. So with Mars there and all those planets, the sun gives awareness, happiness, it gives you insight, and it's like this whole new side of life is opened up. Venus gives you a beautiful kind of almost magnetic energy around these things. It's like you're magnetically attracted to these things, and people will notice it in you. They'll be magnetically attracted to you because of the energy you have around metaphysics and or foreign countries and or study or learning, higher learning. So I'm not just talking about learning something rote fashion. I'm talking about learning the higher concepts, wisdom, experience that goes with these things, so that you can interpret the situation correctly. Because often we get stuff, and it's in the interpretation. That's the devil's in the detail. It's the interpretation, not whether or not we saw such and such vision, or not whether or not you have such and such psychic ability. Okay. And then the new moon, all about new beginnings again. Alrighty. So that's the astrological side of what's going on. Now I'm just going to have a look for you, dear Sagittarians, psychically for the month of July 2019. What I'm seeing, it's like baking a cake. Okay, so we're in the mixing stage, and I know this is a psychic flash because I'm such a terrible cook. I make a cake like once a year. It's terrible. It never turns out. I do try once a year. But what I'm seeing is like a bowl with cake mix spinning around and around and around. And all of the ingredients have to be properly mixed to get the end result. So the ingredients of your life, for whatever project or whatever your heart's desire is, the ingredients have to be prepared properly. Okay, so you don't want to have it unbalanced with too much butter or eggs or whatever. What a particular ingredient has to be the right balance of things to make your particular project for the month of July work properly. Now I'm looking down a long tunnel. It's like I'm very high in the air. So this is more like in a spiritual sense rather than it's like that area where you go from the stratosphere into space. That's where I'm sort of at the moment. And this is like spiritually, the spiritual energy comes through to you, and then you have to interpret it into thought. And so that's where I am at the moment. And so if you can become more aware of the spiritual energy and then interpret it correctly into thought, that goes back to what I was saying before about the interpretation. It's not whether or not you pick up spiritually, you do. It's your brain, how your brain is actually constructed as to whether or not you get the wrong end of the stick or you understand exactly what the message is. All right, okay, and let's have a look in the tarot cards now to see. I'm going to pull a card for July, month of July 2019 for Sagittarius, please. Yeah, opening of boxes, new beginnings. I can see it's like getting a gift, and there's brown cardboard boxes, and this card jumps out, literally jumped out of the box, and it's called the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands. Okay, this is good news about travel. See those pyramids in the background? Okay, even if you're not physically traveling, it's still about broadening your horizons. Okay, see, she's got a baseball bat. She means business there. But it's more about the inspiration and the desire to do it, all right? This card in itself is not sufficient. The energy of this card is not sufficient to get you overseas, although it sure helps. You need to take action steps, okay? After you feel the desire, you actually need to do something about it. We can be full of desire about all sorts of things all the time. doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to pan out, but you need this energy to even, you need the desire and the will to even want to do it, to get there. So if you don't want to go, it's very hard to get you there, isn't it? But you can see she's meaning business, and she wants to get going. So it's the Page of Wands. It means good news, okay, messages back and forth. So messages within yourself, but probably with other people. You could be talking to other people connected with foreign lands, and that gives you a bit of an idea. Geez, I'd like to do that. Lately I've been thinking about like Norway and Sweden particularly. It's really been on my mind, and Iceland really on my mind a lot. So you might go through a time where that desire is there, but not necessarily act immediately. But yeah, bank it into your thinking, because Spirit does want you to broaden your horizons, and there's good news about it. Okay, alrighty. Anything else for Sagittarius that I need to tell them for the month of July 2019? They're showing me triangles. They could be love triangles. And again, it's very detailed what I'm seeing. It's on the theme of the pyramids. These are probably chakras in your body, I suspect, because the symbol that I see for chakras is often a pyramid. So about cleaning out your chakras. Now, there's different chakra systems. Some people adhere to the 7 chakra system, which is just in the body. I focus more on the 9 chakra system, which includes the Earth Star and the Soul Star. And there are chakras even above the Earth Star. I don't focus on those so much because they're so removed from our physical life for most people that they don't have that much meaning to most people. But there is the Godhead, above the Soul Star, that is important. But, trying to explain God, I mean, Jesus, no words really, is there? Okay, so the issue here is, or the focus here is on your chakras. So it's a great month for you, Sagittarius, to start meditating and focus on your own chakras and clean them out. Okay, imagine them spinning, and any dross or stuff from the past that no longer serves you, you can let go of that. Yeah. It's also, they're telling me there's good luck. They're showing me a pig. In Chinese astrology, a pig is considered a very lucky creature, and I'm seeing this pig with a big smile on its face. And so good luck for the month of July around you, and I feel like a certain abundance. If you've had difficulties financially, there might be an easing in that. There seems to be, some small breaks that you'll get that you'll appreciate a lot. Okay, so that's all I see psychically at the moment for you. Thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate if you like this video and subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. I've got, things coming out all the time. I've got a zillion ideas. It's just a matter of getting time, of course, to do everything. Yeah, I'd love to see you. Pick a Card is on Mondays at 8 a.m. Sydney, Australia time. That's Sunday night if you're in the rest of the world, not in Australia or New Zealand. But thanks so much for listening. I want to wish you a very beautiful month. And please, if you click the notification bells, you'll get notice of when I'm doing stuff, which is pretty well, quite frequently. I've got Capricorn next for the horoscopes. Okay, have a beautiful month, and I will catch you later. Bye for now.